So this webinar is on emotional intelligence, and I can see people are logging in, and we are going to start the session shortly. So if you want, you can just quickly introduce yourself, or you can type in the chat box, and we are all then set for this webinar. So how many of you are really excited for this webinar? Can I get a quick confirmation in the chat box? Am I clear? Am I loud and clear? If you are able to hear me? You can just type in, you can use the chat box for giving your confirmation. So this session is all about emotional intelligence. So before we start our session, I would just request if you can just, anyone can give me a quick confirmation. Am I audible, or do you need like me to speak a little bit more loudly so that I can, quickly start? Thank you so much. Okay, I just got one confirmation, so I can take it. That's fine. So I'll introduce myself before I start the session. There are a few ground rules which we would follow during this webinar so that this becomes more, a practical webinar, and you'll learn a lot of things from this session. So the aspect is not to make it more of a theoretical session, but I would like to add my practical experience, and I would like to share a lot of things with you. And in this typical situation, I hope everyone is taking care of themselves. So before we start, I would just like to tell you that we have 40 minutes slot as we are doing it on Zoom. So I would request you, as the meeting is over, so please re-log in. There are a lot of interesting things coming up in this webinar, although it's 1 hour webinar, but I would love to have you all throughout this webinar. So Kanaya, I can see you raising your hand. Can you just type if you are not able to hear me, or whatever your concern is? Can you just, or if you want, you can speak up. Or if there is any issue at your end, or you want to ask any question, or you can just raise your hand later on. Okay, so I can see a lot of participation from different people. So these are the ground rules, and by default you would be on mute mode. So if you want to speak, if you want to add your suggestion, you're free to do it. You can type in the chat box. Okay, that's fine, Kanaya, that's absolutely fine, no issues. So let's begin with the webinar. So you might be keen to know like who is the speaker and who is presenting this webinar. So my name is Prashant Stephens. Basically, I'm from Pune. I'm an HR professional, and I had more than 12 years of experience into HR, organizational development, talent acquisition, as well as into learning and development. Okay, so my experience is of close to 12 years. I've worked both in national and domestic organizations. So the reason why I'm organizing this session is primarily I want to share my knowledge, I want to share my experience through this platform, and this is what makes me more comfortable, and I really love sharing my experience with you all guys. So it's not going to be a one-way communication, so it's going to be two-way communication. So you're free to answer, you are free to raise any question. I'm absolutely fine with that. Okay, so this is all about me. I won't really, most of you have read the slide, so I won't really waste much of your time in explaining all of the details. But let's proceed with the subject. So the topic is very interesting. It's very practical. So what exactly we are going to discuss in today's agenda is we are going to understand what is emotional intelligence. We also understand emotional intelligence is a very important subject in our professional, personal, and in all our spheres wherever we are working. Okay, so that's how emotional intelligence is closely related to our life. Then we are going to understand how emotional intelligence, it started. Then we are going to understand 4 pillars of emotional intelligence, which is going to be the focal point of our webinar. And we would also love to cover something like characteristics of people with high EQ, high emotional intelligence or high emotional quotient. Then we are going to take up few case studies, and we are going to understand how we can improve our emotional intelligence. So that's how this session or webinar is lined up. Okay. So, and also we are going to discuss some myths related to emotional intelligence. So all set for this session. I can see a lot of people getting added, so that's good. So let's start with this session. Okay, now this all started by this gentleman named as Daniel Goleman. He was the person who actually popularized this concept of emotional intelligence. It was way back in 1995 when he published his own book that was popularized, and it went like anything. I would explain what his concept was all about, and what he actually states is that what really matters for success is the character, or rather what really matters for success, character, happiness, and lifelong achievement is definite set of emotional skills and your EQ. Okay, not just purely cognitive abilities that are measured by conventional IQ tests. Okay, so we are not going to now create any kind of differentiation between EQ and IQ, because that is not the subject that we are going to touch base. Now, as I told you, we are just going to dig into the history about emotional intelligence. It all started in 1964 when a paper was published by Michael Baldock in 1964. Before that, I think emotional intelligence was really not known to people, and it was, people were not really aware of. We were only talking about IQ, intellectual quotient. And can anyone tell me can you at least tell me names of those people with highest intellectual quotient in the world? Can anyone type, or anyone can just speak out? Can anyone name at least 2 people with highest?
Albert Einstein.
Great. Albert Einstein. He was having the highest EQ of more than 165. Great.
Yeah, Newton.
Isaac Newton. Excellent.
Isaac Newton.
Excellent. So these were 2 people, and there were many people, even Stephen Hawkins, who
as well,
who created the Big Bang Theory. And then once it started getting momentum, even we have all these behavioral and psychological theories, which also give some impetus to this particular emotional intelligence concept. But then it all started in 1990 with Peter Salovey and John Mayer. These were the 2 pioneers who really coined this term of emotional intelligence. In 1995, as I told, like Daniel Goleman, he was basically an economist and even a psychologist. He published his book named as Emotional Intelligence: Why It Can Make or Why It Can Matter More Than IQ. So that's how he actually challenged this word IQ. But it got really popular during that phase, and that's how we got this term emotional intelligence. But prior to that, many people were just talking about IQ, and there were various tests designed to judge the intellectual quotient of any person. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Now let's come to a very important aspect of our presentation, which is, we are going to compare what is EQ and IQ. So if anyone can help me, what do you understand by the difference between EQ and IQ? We have heard a lot of times, even during our college days, school days, students were asked to give intellectual quotient tests. So what exactly you mean by EQ and IQ? So if you want to just draw out certain differentiation. Yes, anyone would like to answer? Or you can type.
EQ is more about, yes, if I can speak. EQ is more about how emotionally you're strong.
Great.
And how can you tolerate or how can you function your emotion. And IQ is more about how much knowledge you have, for example, a maths knowledge or logical knowledge.
Great.
So this is the basic difference.
Yes, quite well answered. Excellent. Anyone would like to answer? Anyone would like to participate? They are free, or you can type your responses in the chat box. I would definitely love to read out your responses. So basically, as rightly said by Kamakshi, is that EQ is primarily, it is about your emotional quotient, okay, which we are going to discuss in detail. It talks about your mental well-being, your emotional status, your thinking ability, the way you associate yourself with the situation, the society, with your own, with yourself as well. But when you talk about IQ is more towards the logical reasoning ability, your thinking ability, your comprehension ability, how you express your thoughts, your ideas, how you analyze situations. So all these things is related towards IQ. So we are not going to basically create any kind of difference over here, but this is how people generally differentiate between EQ and IQ. Okay, so our topic for discussion is more towards the more towards the emotional quotient of a person. Okay, now we'll take a quick survey, okay, on what do you think about emotional intelligence. Okay, so I'll just share this survey. As I can see a lot of people joining in, so I'll just share this survey link on this particular chat box. I want you to just click on this link. Okay, I want you to click on this link and share your survey. Okay, it's very important for me to understand how do you think emotional intelligence is. So I think I've shared it with everyone. Okay, I'll just share it with everyone. Okay, now I want you to fill out this survey form, and I'll give you 2 minutes, not more than that. So just click on this survey form and complete the survey in 2 minutes. There are hardly 4 or 5 questions. So I want you to complete this survey. I've shared it in the chat box. So you can just click on the link and you can complete the form. So then we are going to proceed, and I'm going to share the poll result with you. And let's see how people think. What is intellectual quotient? What are their myths associated with emotional quotient, not the intellectual quotient. So I hope you guys are taking your time to fill up the survey. So I'll just give you 2 minutes, not more than that. We have limited time, and that's why I'm being very quick. Okay. So guys, please fill up your survey, and once you're done, just type in yes, I've done it, or you can type it bring it on or BIO, so that I can share the poll result with you. So that if those who have joined us now, so please fill up this. I've shared it on the chat box, this particular link. So click on that, and okay, I'll send it again. Those who have joined it now, please fill up this survey, and it will help me to give you the result, the poll, that what do you feel about emotional intelligence. There are some very basic questions associated with this. Rahul, thank you so much. Kaustubh, thank you so much. I'm just waiting for another minute, and then I can at least share your responses. Thank you, Prince, Bhushan. Thank you so much for filling up. Thank you, Vinay. Please be there till the last moment of this session. There are a lot of interesting things coming up. Thank you, Kajal. Done. So I think we are getting a lot of responses. So I'll just go and see what is the result of the poll. Okay. So I'll just click on analyze. Okay, let me take the result. Okay, so people are sharing their results. So why am I doing it? The reason is very simple. I'll just share the result. Okay, can you see the screen? The question number 1 was, is emotional intelligence same as intellectual quotient? So almost 60% plus people have responded as 62% people have said that no, it is not same, it is different. And 37, almost 38% people feel that emotional intelligence and intellectual quotient is one and the same. Okay, very good. At least I can understand what I need to work on. Okay, so fine. So the next question was, how often do you think when you recollect your past events and you feel like you could have managed the situation better? So it is, most of you feel always. The maximum answer is 33% feel always. They think that they could have handled the situation much better. 30% almost people feel that they usually feel like that, and 33% people feel that sometimes they feel. And there are very the percentage is very less or rarely and never. Okay, the question number 3 was, do you really think emotional intelligence helps in managing relationships? Oh, great. The maximum response is 96, almost 97%. Wow, so that makes my job easy, and that will really be great for all of us to understand what is emotional intelligence. The next question was, how often do you think managing relationship is a big challenge? Oh, maximum people feel that it's always a big challenge. I want to ask you, how many of you are married professionals? So this may be the green zone that I can see many people from that area. I'm just joking, but that can be one of the reasons. Maybe you might find it difficult to manage relationship with your colleagues, your boss, your superiors, or your relatives, or your wife, your husband, whatever, or your children, okay? Or maybe with your teachers as well. So I got a very good response. Thank you so much. Let's move to the next phase of the presentation. I'll share my presentation again. So let's start from the current slide. Thank you so much. So it was a great poll. Now we are going to understand how can we measure emotional intelligence. So when we talk about emotional intelligence, let me be very clear with you guys. Emotional intelligence is all about your mental well-being, how you understand yourself, your emotions, your personality, and also about others. So that's one of the most important factor when we talk about emotional intelligence. Now, these are the 4 pillars that I have been discussing, I've been sharing with you all guys. This is about being aware of your emotions, how well you are aware of your emotions. Expressing about your emotions. How do you express your emotions? Controlling your emotions and handling relationships. So these are the 4 pillars. Now I'll be moving to the next slide about the framework of emotional intelligence, which I have plotted all these points accordingly. So you'll be able to understand that how emotional intelligence is important in our life. Now, when I talk about this framework, it has 4 major quadrants. The first quadrant talks about your self-competency and social competency, the second quadrant. Then it is based on recognition, and the next quadrant is based on regulation. So when you talk about recognition means how well you are aware about yourself, how you take yourself, how do you label your emotions, how well you are aware about your emotions in a given situation. So that is one of the most important phase of your awareness. So whether you are in complete control about you, whether you know that whether to react in this particular situation is good or bad. So once you start becoming aware about your emotions, that means you are moving close to emotional intelligence, right? The next phase is, now you are not constrained only towards yourself, because you are a social animal. You always interact with people, your family, your friends, your colleagues, your office people, your managers, and many other people. So even your neighbors as such. So this phase, from self-awareness, you move towards social awareness, that how socially sensitive you are. Do you understand others' problems? Do you put yourself in others' shoes? So that is one of the most important phase of social competency. So once you develop your self competency, being aware of your own self, then you move towards being aware of social aspects. The next phase is the regulation phase, that is called as the transactional phase. Now, emotions are not only pertaining towards the social aspects, that is only with interpersonal skills. It also results into your intrapersonal skills, that is relations that you share with yourself. That is called as self-management. So I'm coming towards the transactional phase, that how do you regulate yourself? How do you manage yourself? How well you are able to take control about your emotions in a given situation. Then you move towards managing the relationships. Once you are able to control your emotions, you're not able to let out your emotions in a given situation, then you are in a good position to manage your relationships. So based on this particular framework, we are going to discuss different case studies and different concepts related to emotional intelligence. Okay. Now, do you have any questions? Guys, do you have any questions? Please ask.
No, sir.
Great. So I'm not going to restrict this discussion to theoretical part, because that is not the objective. I'm going to move towards the practical part, which most of you are really interested. Okay. Now, in our life, we are always in this particular phase, the outcome equation. That means any event which triggers or any stimulus which takes place in our life, we react to it as a response, and our response is an outcome of that particular event. Okay. Now, event generally is not in our control. Response certainly is in our control. Whether, like for example, I'll have a lot of situations which are coming and we are going to discuss, and I would also love your opinion. So, but events, response and outcome, these are the major aspects when you come across in your life. These are the major events which takes place. It can be good, it can be bad, it can be pleasant, unpleasant, but these are not in your control. Like for example, you have given your exams. Now you don't know what would be the result. Say in case if you are not able to score as per your expectation, then what would be your response? Are you going to get demotivated, or are you going to think in a positive way, okay, I can still pull up my socks and I can do better in the coming exams? So that response would result in a positive or negative outcome. So we are going to understand this framework as well, of how we can adjust our emotions and become more intellectual and more emotionally strong people as well in given situation. So that is what we are going to understand. So if you have any question, please ask. Now let us take a case study. A case study is very simple. Maybe most of you are working professionals and understanding the emotional intelligence part, because emotional intelligence is again related to your emotional well-being. It is also related to how intellectually you think in a given situation. So please understand that emotional intelligence does not mean overpowering your intellectual quotient. It means that you balance both the situation, both your emotional as well as your intellectual capabilities. Okay, so that is what we are going to understand from the case studies. Now, the case study is very clear that Bob is one of the employees in XYZ company. He is not comfortable in public speaking, particularly in work environment. But now the situation is that he is in a large team meeting, and his manager asks him to present his findings on one of the reports he is working on. How does Bob experience the situation internally? Can anyone give me a response? Put yourself in Bob's shoes and then try to answer this question. You can even type your responses in the chat box, or you're free to answer. So I'm waiting for the response. How would you respond in case you are in Bob's position? You are not comfortable. Bob is not comfortable in public speaking, but he has been asked by his manager that you have to present this particular report in front of the management, So what is going to be his next move? What do you think Bob should do? Should he react and say that, no, boss, I'm not comfortable. You know that I've never done such kind of thing. And, or probably he will shout, yell, he'll get frustrated. He will leave the office early. What should he do? Okay, I've got one response.
He should focus more on his skills. He should improve his skills, and he should take this as an opportunity where he can improve.
Great, very good, nice, good answer.
Okay.
Sir, maybe
If
Bob is first going to be nervous. After that, he's going to study on that topic,
Great,
and he have to do work on how he's going to speak with public.
great,
So maybe that fear will he can manage that fear.
great. So there are people who are
If-
saying he should at least try.
Yeah.
Bob must be uncomfortable in
I would
speaking.
like to say, Prashant sir,
Yes, please.
if not comfortable at the moment, he should be straightforward to his boss
Mhm.
that I am not comfortable at this moment, so that there is less possibility of getting mistake on the board.
Okay.
So he should be clear with the communication that I am not comfortable. I think
Okay.
so.
Okay, I agree to your point. Good, nice.
Yeah.
So some people say that Praveen says that I will take few seconds first and make myself, I'll make myself comfortable and then move to the deliverables. That's absolutely fine, Praveen. Nice, good answer. Then Param says that he should go ahead and respect himself so that it can build self-confidence. Good. So there are different responses, and Vaishnavi says Bob must be uncomfortable speaking in public, but he should try it and he should do it. Good. So that's positive way of thinking, and I also agree to you because if you think that this is an opportunity, because sometimes opportunity comes without knocking the door, right? Do you all agree? So there are many instances in your life when you are not prepared, but the opportunity comes and you have to accept it. Whether you accept or whether you reject, there are two options. But how emotionally intelligent you are, you would try to at least assess the situation. You won't just go by your gut feelings that no, I'm not comfortable, so I label myself that I'm not a good public speaker. So let's not go into this, and I'll call my boss separately. Boss, please don't get me into all this. I will prepare all sort of reports and present it on your table, but please you appoint XYZ person instead of me. I'm not comfortable. Please don't, drag me into this particular situation. So either you can shrug off this particular opportunity, or you can take it, as many of you say, that at least you should try it. So it all depends. Maybe this manager may get impressed by his public speaking skills and he might be promoted to the next level. So there are various instances that you can, derive things. So again, it's an event which has happened. What response you give would be an outcome to that particular. But when a person who is emotionally intelligent would not react to it, okay, we have guys 10 minutes in hand. Again, requesting you, please re-log in. Don't leave the session at any cost. I would love you to be throughout the session, okay? So please don't go into end up the session within 1 hour. So please, I understand it's Saturday, so don't mind. But I want you to be there because there are a lot of interesting things coming up. So re-log in, and we are just having 9 minutes in hand. So these are certain instances which happen in your life. You can evaluate, you can write down certain events which happen in your life, and then accordingly you should put yourself, and you can think about Bob and think about yourself, that how did I react to that particular situation? Should I have given it a try, or should I just, okay, Vishaka, you have raised your hand. I'll come back to you. So if you want, you can just type in your response and I'll answer your question. So that all depends on how you respond to a given situation. So emotional intelligence, emotionally intelligent people will always think, they will always take time. Maybe Bob would take a deep breath, think about it, plan his strategy. He may not be a good speaker like Barack Obama or someone like Narendra Modi ji, but he would always try to put his ideas properly in place. Okay, so that's what we are generally talking about. So let's take another example. So this happens in every metro city. Okay, for example, you're going to office and you just grab your car and you're just about to remove your car from your parking lot and just you see some car banging from behind or from sideways, how would you react? Can you guys give me your response? If such things
Definitely,
It
I
makes
will
us angry.
shout. I will shout at the other person why he's doing this
Okay.
kind of activity.
Great. Okay.
It
And
makes-
consider-
it
So
makes
Pradip
sense.
will
Okay,
be
sorry to
sad.
interrupt.
I will just come. Yeah.
Okay, so you will calm down. That's good. Nice. Okay, just give me. I'll.
Calm down. Just let's go.
Okay, good. So I'll just give you a small tip on this. Imagine that day is very important. You are leaving to office or leaving for an interview, and something like this happens. Okay, so you are already getting late, or you are already in something or some thought. You have an important meeting or a presentation or a client meeting, and such event takes place. What would you do? What should be your move? Would you blame the driver? Would you get into an heated argument, or would you like to, take this matter later on? Okay. So here some Vishaka says that, sir, I can't hear you properly. Okay, I'll be loud. Can you just check your network, Vishaka? And okay. On Vaishnavi says, to be honest, I'll be really angry. Thank you. That's the obvious stimuli that you would get from this event. Okay, I'll burst out on that person, then just take a leave. Okay, Amira, you are just going to kill that person. Okay, fine. And okay, sure. No, it's okay. You don't have to be sorry. It's fine. That's really fine. This is a natural response that you get. But I'll explain you generally what happens if such events happen. We generally, this is our misconception phase and this is our fact. What we do, if any event happens like this, we automatically react and we blame that event. Okay, I was upset throughout the day. I couldn't focus on my office because someone banged me from behind. Someone banged my car from behind, and that's what happened. And we directly blame the event. I was not able to get good marks because my teacher didn't teach that particular subject properly, and that's why I was not really interested to score good marks. I didn't study properly. Okay, I was not able to clear the interview because the company was not really good, and the interviewer was not sharing any information, so I didn't clear the interview. Okay, I was not able to clear the competitive exam because my parents didn't support me to that extent. They didn't allow me to join XYZ classes, which is one of the most famous classes in the town. And many of my friends who joined that class were able to clear successfully the competitive exam. So these are all excuses which we give based on the events. But actually, the fact is that the event is just a stimuli. Okay, it is just something which is not controllable. So in our life, always things happen. 90% of things happen without, which are not in, our favor, which we generally do not like. But then we should not really blame the behavior. Okay, or our behavior should not be. It's not really the outcome of the event. Actually, it is the thought and feelings which goes in our mind and our heart. Okay, so that's how people with who do not understand the importance of emotional intelligence would definitely consider and blame the particular situation. Okay, I was not able to do this because of this. But then there are some, why people, why we differentiate between successful and unsuccessful people is that they learn to take the responsibility of their act. Okay, whatever they do, they take complete onus of their particular situation or themselves. So that is how, that thing you should always imbibe in your mind. Okay, I'll just move to the next slide. Now, when we talk about being emotionally intelligent, what are the traits of a good emotionally intelligent person? Okay, now the first trait that an emotionally intelligent person would have is they can handle complex situations. Okay, I'll give you a very simple example of two friends. Now we just have 3 minutes, so guys, please re-log in, and that story would still continue. So there were two students, Ram and Sham, who went to a particular coaching center for application of or for applying for a particular course. Okay. Now, although the coaching center had given a particular deadline that you have to fill up the form and then only you would be eligible for the admission. You need to fill up the form on this and this date. But Ram and Shah both, because of some reasons, they were not able to fill up the form and they actually went late for the admission process, and they were too late for that. And when they entered the coaching center, the receptionist, with headstrong attitude, she said, "Sorry, Mr. Ram, you are too late, and we cannot give you admission because the seats are completely full." Ram was full of anger and ego. He says to the receptionist, "Do you know me? Do you know me? I am the son of a particular corporator. Okay, I'm the son of the corporator of this town. I will sue this institute. I will ensure that no one takes admission in this particular institute. I'll see how people take admission in your institute. I will sue this institute. I will file a case against you." And he blasted. And this receptionist, already she was pissed off with all her work for that particular day because she was bombarded with a lot of calls, admission process, and streamlining the classes and everything. She gives shit to his words, and she says that, "Please don't eat my head. If you want, do whatever you want to do, because I am obliged to perform my task." Now this particular gentleman goes with a fist of anger, and he just throws his file and he just leaves the class. But there is another gentleman called as Sham who walks and observes the situation smartly, and he says to the receptionist, "Ma'am, I know this type of students would really bother you, and this is really making you pissed off. I was really observing the entire scene. I really feel sorry because you put in so much of effort, and see how come, how are you handling all these people? But anyways, and she asks you, "Okay, like you have come for the admissions?" He says, "Yeah, but and I feel like I'm late now. But I would just request, ma'am, if you can, if there is any possibility for me to get admission in your institute, please do inform me. I would really be thankful to you." So she says, "Okay, if there is any dropout, I would definitely give you a call." So this way, Sham works smartly. He uses his emotional intelligence and he handles this complex situation smartly. And that definitely turns out to be a dropout, and he gets a call and gets the first preference over Ram by the receptionist. What do you think about this situation? Have you experienced such situation in your life? Forget about Ram and Sham. Maybe something very similar. You can just draw your ideas on this.
Like, so politeness always helps.
Yeah.
Like, if you polite the person you're talking with, like if you want any help and you ask him politely, so they're always ready to help us.
Yes.
Politeness matters in somewhere.
I'll just yeah, very good, excellent. So I'll just draw your attention to our greatest leaders like Mahatma Gandhi ji. We call him as the father of our nation and a highly respected personality. So why Mahatma Gandhi ji was able to get independence for our nation? Because he was very down to earth. Okay, people used to really respect him because he used to carry himself in a way. He used to respect people, even in the midst of such situation where India was struggling to get independence, wanted to fight for the Swaraj. There were other extremists who were working on the other side, and Gandhiji led the independence movement by Satyagraha. No one even thought that he would go all the way and do Dandi March and set an example for others to break the SALT Act, right? So he used his emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence helps you to connect with people in a given situation. Now here he understood that this particular receptionist is already pissed off with her work, but if he does the same thing what Ram had done, probably he wouldn't have benefited out of it. Now here he had the only option of at least consoling the concerned person, empathizing the person, putting himself in her shoes, and then try to understand and visualize the situation, which many of us do, and sometimes we fail to do it. Okay, and there are many occasions because we lack to when we fail to implement this particular emotional intelligence which is there within us, and then probably we end up getting into arguments and getting into unnecessary conversations which are not really required, and that really spoils the entire situation altogether. So that I have personally experienced in my life, but when I started realizing that how emotional intelligence plays a crucial role in solving the problems, you need not have high intellectual quotient, you not be a really intellectually strong person, but in case how are you able to adjust yourself in a given situation is very important, and that what differentiates a person from any ordinary person. So that's what I want to say. Then they are able to express their feelings and emotions. So can anyone draw their thoughts on this particular point, that how you can express your feelings and emotions, right? So anyone would like to add something on this, how you can express your emotions? How do you think emotionally intellectual person, or rather emotionally intelligent person, is able to express his ideas and feelings or their thoughts?
So I think most of the times when you use polite words or you have a positive attitude towards something, the chances of getting that particular thing is more towards you, while you're thinking about it in a negative way, because many of the book have mentioned that when you think in negative way, you attract negative thoughts, and ultimately the chances of things getting towards you is less. Even the example which you gave, receptionist, only the thing was both were eligible, I can say both were the students, both were able to pay their fees, but because of the words, because of their attitude, the one who was in a positive way, who was having a positive approach, got the seat. So I think most of the time thinking before what you're saying is much more important.
So that's what is really important. So Smitesh has given his response that these people can express their ideas in simple and effective manner. Yes, very true. So they can express their emotions. They are aware of their emotions, and they know that how if there is no need of shouting, if there is no need of talking loudly, I can still achieve my the task or the goal that I'm looking out for. So Param also says such people always have a positive attitude, which helps them to focus on their goals rather than problems. Yes, so it is rightly said by Albert Einstein that you cannot solve the problems with the same mindset with which you created the problem. Okay, so that's how you need to have your mental abilities. You have to think broad, you have to expand your horizon. That's what. Then these people also gain respect in the society because they are able to connect with people properly. So that is one of the most important fact of emotionally intelligent person. You just think about any person from your school days or college days. Sometimes you feel like, okay, you just open their Instagram account or Facebook account or any other social networking account, and you feel like they are placed in such a good position. Oh, this person, I never used to see him well dressed, or never used to participate in college or school activities, but now see how he's placed well. But and on contrary, if you see those students who were scoring good marks in their academics and scores, but you find them and they are struggling in their careers, they are not able to succeed well, or maybe they are finding it difficult to meet their ends as well. So it happens in many situations. So it is not about having only your intellectual abilities to achieve success, but it is all about how you manage relationships, how you become more intellectual person, but at the same time how emotionally strong, how emotionally intelligent you are. So that's why these two words are not considered to be an oxymoron. Many people consider these two words as oxymoron. Oxymoron are certain words which we use together, like deafening silence. Okay, but people generally use this thing that emotional intelligence is a kind of oxymoron, but it is not. So emotionally you become intelligent. That's what it actually means. These people are also able to influence others. Okay, the way they speak, the way they carry themselves, they also are able to influence others. They are able to put their ideas and thoughts in place. Okay, So that's why you feel like in some organization, few people are good at leadership roles. So the reason was very simple, is that because they were able to influence people by their ideas. You need not be a billionaire, you need not be like you can take a simple example of Mahatma Gandhi ji, simple example of someone like Anna Hazare ji, who created some campaigns, who influenced people by their thoughts and ideas. They created ripples in the society. They created a change movement. They changed the society. Even Mahatma Jyotirao Phule ji, he was also one of the most pioneer or crusader in developing the society in our country. Even Swami Vivekananda ji, who inspired the people by his intellectual thoughts, ideas. Even we can talk about Chanakya. So Chanakya Niti is one of the most highly sold out books in the market, and he is considered to be the backbone of Arthashastra in India. So these people were able to influence the ideas. They were influence people, by their behavior, by their thoughts. The next is they are always there to exchange knowledge. Now, intellectual people always think, okay, I'm the one, I know everything. I do not need any knowledge. I can do everything by my own. But that's not the real case. You have to collaborate with people. You have to share your knowledge. You have to, understand the problem, get into the problem, and that's how you become more emotionally intelligent person. Best example we can give about is Mother Teresa, who by her work, she was able to influence the lives of the people. She exchanged her ideas, she exchanged her service to the society, and that's why we still remember her as a great lady of India. Okay, or she was not born in India, but she served her entire life in India. Then they are always cool-headed. Now, when you talk about cool-headed, we always think about Mahi, okay, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So he was able to achieve major milestone in his career because he can take decisions under stressful situations. So I always get goosebumps when I recollect those moments of 2007 and 2011 World Cup. So, and even the Champions Trophy, how India was able to squeeze in that win in those last overs. So that is one of the most crucial achievement of a person who always is considered to be a cool-headed person. So that's how you can be more intellectual. You may be intellectual person, but emotionally intellectual persons are always they are cool-headed. They think, they analyze the situation, because the moment your adrenaline gland starts pumping those emotions, you become restless, you become anxious, and that's how you don't feel like doing anything, or you just isolate yourself from that situation. But the person who keeps his cool will definitely be able to analyze the situation. He may take responsibility for the success and failure, but always he gives credit to the success to other people, because that's how they feel privileged. They don't take the entire onus for themselves. So that's how you need to be cool-headed if you want to become emotionally intelligent person. Then the next part which I would like to add is about, if you want to judge a person's emotional intelligence, okay, we can do it on practical scenario. I'll give you a very I'll give you a kind of a hypothetical situation where your friend had just experienced a breakup with his girlfriend, okay, or you can take vice versa. Now, how would you see if the person approaches you or any other person who is going through that emotional turmoil, okay, how would he associate or how would you feel in this situation if he approaches you? Let's take it in that way. So if you are like, there are various zones which I have created. At the first stage, it's like a person with almost zero emotional intelligence will have antipathy. Antipathy is something which there is no sympathy at all. The person will say, okay, fine, it's okay, I told you, you shouldn't have gone around with that girl. I told you she's like that, and like that. Okay. The next phase comes just above or just close or just an average person with emotional intelligence would apathy. Okay. He'll say, okay, he'll just listen. Okay, fine, that's it. The next level is sympathy. You just show sympathy. Now, sympathy is just showing a kind of a false kind of emotions to that person. Okay, I feel really sorry about this situation. I wish it shouldn't have happened, but that's fine. Now you should move ahead. So that is sympathy, just above average of emotional intelligence. Now the next level, you again move down to empathy plus action. You feel, you put yourself in his shoes and you say that, okay, fine, yeah, it's okay. I also went through the situation. I had also experienced the same situation of breakup. I can understand what you're going through. But then still the story hasn't ended here. How do you judge a person who is highly emotional intelligence in this situation is that he goes all the way, he converts his emotions into actions, and he takes him for a walk or he takes him for a ride. He goes and meets him personally, spends some time, and shows compassion towards his friend. So that shows that you really care for the person, you really know the person, and you really respect his emotion. So all these things you can easily make out whether the person is emotionally intelligent or not. So having just sympathy, having just emotion is not important. You should also go and take some action, and that's how people will start respecting you. People will start knowing you. You can put this situation in your real life, in your professional life. If anything, if any manager or any subordinate comes to you with a problem, how do you react? Do you say that, okay, I'm busy right now, please don't disturb? Or you just tell him that, okay, we'll work together, we'll try to resolve the problem. We talk about teamwork, but this is how actually, everything in management, it revolves around your emotional intelligence. So that's what I really want to tell. So don't just take this as any abstract thing in your life, but you should actually start implementing it with some action, which is preceded by it. Okay, so that's one thing which is really important. Any questions you want to add on this, or do you have anything, or are we clear with this? Can I get a quick confirmation? You can type BIO.
So can you explain compassion again?
Compassion. Okay, I was in an interesting storytelling phase where my friend comes to me with his broken heart. Oh, my girlfriend left me. I'm torn apart. My heart is in 2 pieces. What should I do? I'm crying. I don't want my friend to be like a Devdas. Okay, I don't want him to be like a Devdas, but I want him to really come out of that situation. So I not only put myself to his shoes. So that is only empathy, that you should show him empathy. Okay, but then you go all the way and spend some quality time to really get him out of the situation, not only one day, but maybe till the time he really comes out of that broken phase and he starts becoming normal. So you have given your precious time, you have converted your emotions into actions because you care for your friend. So that is what compassion is all about, where a person is at high level of emotional intelligence. So am I clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Param says that I will motivate him to move on because whatever happens in life is for a reason, and just take a lesson from the situation and be happy, because if a person can't make you happy, then he has no right to hurt you. So that's well said, Param. I appreciate your thoughts. So you should really move ahead in your life, and that's how we are also going to move ahead with this presentation. Okay, now how we are going to build an emotional intelligence in ourselves. Okay, so what is in a given situation, let's say your manager, again coming back to an official example, you are working as a professional. Okay, your manager has given you a file to work on or a document to work on. You have done all the hard work, you have spent days together to prepare a document, and on the day of presentation you end up coming to office and you had kept that important file in your desk or somewhere near your workstation, and you find the next morning that, oh, this file is missing. What would you do in such situation? Would you react and start blaming your colleagues or the person who is working in the housekeeping department, start blaming him, oh, these people do not know how to work? Then how would you react? Because he has to submit that document. He cannot lose his mental psyche at this point of time. So what is this particular situation all about? Would you recognize your emotions focus and recollect at least, the past 3 events or situation, and then you decide how you should react. Maybe such situation had taken place past, not in this phase, but also in a different way altogether. What was your reaction and how did it turn altogether? So an emotional intelligent person will definitely take a pause. He will definitely not get panicked by that particular situation. He will take a sigh of breath, and he will definitely try and analyze, okay, what should be done. In a burst of anger, he might do something wrong which might come back to him in tenfolds. Okay, so in such situation is called as, in cognitive therapy, such situation is called as cognitive hijack. That means if you allow the situation to take control of your emotions, when it takes control about you completely, then you are completely in a cognitive hijack situation. That means you allow the situation to take control about you. Okay, so that's where you should not allow yourself to get into. Okay, and definitely you have to take the responsibility for yourself. Maybe you can buy in some time from a manager and take some time from him, and then maybe you can just create a backup copy and just take the printout, and then you can then present. Or else, if you have another thing, you can talk to your manager openly, get his suggestion on the same. But if you do not explore options in this situation and you just get carried away by your own emotions, and you think that whatever I'm doing, I'm just going to do anything. So emotional intelligence is all about also to helps you to manage your stress level. You can see in India, there are maximum suicide rates happening in India. The reason is very simple, that youngsters are not able to cope up with the stress level, the pattern of stress that they get into that. Okay, so that is one thing which we need to understand, that emotional intelligence is very important subject, and we can practice that on regular basis. Now I will present a very simple model. Can I ask you to please mute yourself? I'll explain a very simple model of ABCD to implement that in your real life. Okay, someone can please mute themselves. Okay, so this ABCD model is very important if we can implement in our life. What this ABCD model is, I'll just explain you with the help of a simple case study. There are two people in this particular situation. One is Priya and one is Dan. They both are working professionals in an accounting firm. Priya is Dan's manager. They both are working on an important project. Okay. Priya requires information from Dan on weekly basis to check the progress. Dan is consistently late with information that he provides to Priya on this project. This is what we refer to as activating event. Now, what is activating event? Something which we have already discussed, something which happens, which is not in our control. That is called as activating event, which you cannot control, which triggers your anger, which triggers to certain consequences or something which happens. So that is one event or that takes place. And there are also some associated events which line up with that activating agent or with that activating event, or that is also called as an adversity event. Next, Priya becomes irritable because of Dan's behavior, because he is not submitting the report on timely basis. Okay, he is not submitting those reports on timely basis, and she gets angry on Dan. Now because of this situation, because of this event, there is next phase of the ABCD model, which goes to the belief phase. Now Priya develops her belief about Dan, that Dan is doing deliberately. That's why I'm not getting a proper response from Dan. Maybe Dan is not serious about his work, and that's why she creates that particular belief in her mindset that Dan is doing this job deliberately. He's delaying the work deliberately. So that belief factor gets into her psyche. Then this results to a consequence, which is a negative response from Priya, and she starts confronting him with negative emotions, with anger, and that's how they start ending up getting into a kind of a fist or any kind of argument which is not required. Then she later goes to the next step and she starts challenging her thought process. Now till ABC, things were going a little haywire directing Priya to a negative emotion, negative thought process. But the moment she enters into the D phase, that is disputing to challenge self-defeating belief. That means she starts challenging her belief that maybe she is whatever she is thinking about Dan may not be 100% correct. Maybe Dan has some other tasks to do. Maybe Dan must be having some personal problem. Maybe Dan is not able to. Maybe Dan requires my help to a certain extent, or maybe I'm not able to support Dan to a certain extent, or I'm expecting too much out of Dan. So once she starts challenging her own belief, maybe whatever she was thinking was not proper, it was negative, and that's why she gets into the phase of disputing to her own challenge or to her own thought. That's where she exactly diverts her mindset to a positive way. Now, because she has challenged her thought process, she enters into a next phase. That means she confronts herself and she consoles, or she explains herself that I need to focus on my work, because if I keep focusing on Dan, maybe I won't be able to complete my task the way I'm supposed to complete within a given deadline. So because she started confronting, or because she started challenging her own belief, that is during the dispute phase, she ended up becoming more confident, because she was till date only thinking irrational. Okay, she was completely in an irrational phase, and the moment she gets into that disputing to challenge herself, disputing to challenge self-defeating belief. Self-defeating belief is that something which goes towards irrational thought process. The moment she challenges herself, she gets into a event, or she gets into a positive effect, where she starts focusing on her work more rather than giving more importance to Dan. And in this way, she was able to achieve her task properly. So why can't we get and apply this particular ABCDE model in our life when we are talking about emotional intelligence? Till ABC, we are not having control. Although we make develop belief as negative, because many of you said that when someone bangs my car from behind, I would explode on that person, I would shout, and then probably I'll make my way to office. So that belief came to our mindset that no, I was thinking negative, I shouldn't have exploded. Maybe the person was also traveling to office, he was also getting ready to travel, he may not have done it intentionally, but it was me who exploded. It was me who misunderstood that particular event, and then I exploded, and I completely ended up spoiling my entire day. So when you start challenging your thoughts, you basically stop that irrational flow of thoughts and you enter into some rational thought process. So are we clear with this? Do you think that this concept or model can be applied to our real life? If you agree, then press yes or type yes. I'm waiting for your response. Or you can even type BIO, that is bring it on. I definitely agree with this. Can I get participants to at least type yes, quick yes or no, whatever you feel like? Great. So I can get a lot of yes from you guys. Thank you so much. So this model is definitely workable because this is based on practical situation. So let's move to another slide. Now let's talk about myths, because we are almost on the verge of completing our presentation, and then we are going to have one wonderful session. So myths about emotional intelligence. Now people generally in olden days, they were more focusing towards the IQ part, and they say that intellectual quotient or highly intellectual people with high IQ are those who are more successful. But yes, they were successful. I'm not saying that, but it doesn't mean that EQ doesn't have its space. We have general myths that related to emotions, that only emotions are considered to be with weak people. That means we have a patriarchal society where it is called as Purush Pradhan society, where male people dominate our society. But it is not like that. Emotions are not only constrained towards female segment, but it is equally applicable to every segment or every gender. Okay, all the gender, like male and female both. Okay, so if you see your any male person crying or getting emotionally down, it doesn't mean that he's weak. You should express your emotions, and you should also value others' emotions to that extent, because we are all human beings. Even animals cry, okay? Even we feel bad about them. So expressing emotions doesn't mean that you are weak. So this is one myth we should always remove from our mind, that someone who cries or breaks down during any situation, that means he's emotionally weak or something. It is not like that. The more you express your emotions, the better it is, okay? So you should not tag anyone, or it should not be considered as a taboo that someone who breaks down or cries is emotionally weak. Then the next thing which people talk about is emotional intelligence does not increase in a lifespan. It is not like that, guys. If you can just, I hope you are able to see this, although it's a little blur, but if you can just see, okay, there are 10 minutes remaining. We'll just try to wrap up this session, and then we'll probably start again. You might have to re-log in. So that would be the last phase of our session. So emotionally intelligent people, they keep increasing their emotional intelligence scores as they progress in their life. So a person between the age of 16 to 19 has somewhere 95 score in emotional intelligence. And you can see as they grow, during the phase of 40 to 50 years, you have the highest emotional intelligence. And it doesn't mean that it drops down. If you are, if you are a learner, if you are passionate about, society, if you are associating yourself with others' emotions, and you keep yourself up to date in developing your knowledge, emotions, and you are a good person in understanding others' emotions, you definitely keep your emotional scores high. Although there are no such instruments or tests which validates your emotional intelligence, like how we have for intellectual quotient, but yes, it is not a myth that your your emotional quotient does not increase in your lifespan. It is a research done by a lot of scientists and psychologists across the globe, and that is how we have derived this particular graph. Okay, then we are going to understand that another myth is that emotional intelligence is of no use in real life. So this data I have taken from one of the websites of one of the research done in US, in one of the university. It shows that highly emotional intelligent people earn more than their peers. That is almost $30,000 per year. They are better in work performance. Okay, they are able to do and achieve good scores in their academics. They are also able to achieve their long-term goals. They are happy and they have satisfying relationships. So these are all real-time figures. So we should not think that emotional intelligence is of no use. Okay, and to tell you that we have companies who are now banking more on the emotional quotient rather than intellectual quotient. So there would be a lot of HR professional, even academic professionals. Do you agree on this? That emotional intelligence is equally getting a lot of importance in today's world?
Yes, sir.
So how do you think it is getting importance? Can you at least share one example? Because I've been from HR fraternity, so we used to conduct tests based on some psychological aspects. So there are a lot of tests in place, like we have the Myers-Briggs type indicators, the DISC profiling indicators test, which gives you certain amount of information about the personality type of a person. But although these tests are not 100% authenticate, they themselves say that we not give the accurate result of a person, but these are somewhere close to their personality traits. So we cannot judge emotional quotient like intellectual quotient, where we have scores like someone with 70 and above considered to be above average in intellectual quotient. But yes, there are certain personality type indicator tests which at least help you to understand what is the type of personality. So MBTI test has 16 personality types, so that you can study and understand about it. Okay, so we are done. I'm done with this presentation. I actually had to squeeze a lot of information in this particular time. And now there is an interesting phase which I'd like to add. I want you to log into this website now, www.kahoot.it. So can everyone log into this, or you can use your cell phones. Now, before we dive into this particular quiz, I want you to keep your attention on my screen. Even if we are breaking out from this meeting, please re-log in so that we can start this test. Okay. If you have any questions, I would love to answer within that time frame. And there is also one feedback link. I'll just share the feedback link to you. Just give me some time. I'm just sharing the feedback link. So I would love you to share your feedback on today's session. If you have any suggestion, please speak up. Or if you have any questions, please, you can ask in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and you can speak. So Juhi has given, yes sir, intelligence make the work, but emotional makes us to work. That's very nice way of quoting that. Thank you so much, Juhi. Praveen says that in HR interview, we sometimes ask questions on emotional basis. Yes, very true. So I hope you have got this link. May I request you to please use this link for feedback, and I'm going to share this kahoot.it. I want you to log into kahoot.it. They would ask you the key. So I'll start the quiz in some time. Okay, I'll just start the quiz. Are you all ready? Can I get a quick yes?
So link is not visible.
Okay. It is. This is for the feedback. This is for the feedback.
Okay, sir.
This link which I've given is for the feedback. Now I want you to. I'll just share again my screen. I'll just share my screen. Now this, what you need to do, you can use your cell phone and type in www.kahoot.it. Can you see this?
Yes,
KAHOOT.it. So we'll have a small quiz based on our session, and let's see who wins the quiz. It's going to be interesting. Okay, if we cry in workplace, and if our colleagues judged us in a weak person, even though we are not, then what should we do? How to handle it? Even if we are not weak and people say we are weak, it irritates us. What to do in such situation, because we can't control people thinking. Yes, very true, Prajakta. We cannot control people, but we can control ourselves, right? And that is what emotional intelligence is all about. Emotional intelligence doesn't mean that you have to be a kind of a person who always keep people happy. You cannot keep people happy all the time. What is important that you keep yourself happy. Okay, so do not challenge anyone. You challenge your own thoughts. Maybe you just take all such situations as an opportunity to explore in your life or excel in your life. Because there was one famous saying which Sachin Tendulkar had told during when he came back from his failure during the 1999 World Cup, when everyone was asking him to put down his paper. We don't need Sachin Tendulkar now because your performance is dipping down. But then when he came back strongly after the 1999 World Cup, he told people during the interview that one of the interviewer or the reporter asked him, how were you able to take such critics, when people were throwing stones at you? So he said a very famous statement that when people were throwing stones at me, I took those stones and I converted those stones into milestones. So you also take this as a learning lesson, that challenge your belief and challenge yourself rather than thinking about people. If you keep thinking about people, you'll never excel in your life. I hope I'm able to solve your question to a certain extent, Prajakta. So focus on your goal, never deviate from your goal, because situation would always come and it will always bother you. So guys, we are supposed to re-log in because it's just 1 minute, and believe me, you don't need to re-log in again after this last login. Okay, so we are going to end up this session, but please re-log in again because there is one interesting quiz coming up. So I'll explain you what the quiz is all about, and then we are going to wind up the session. Okay, so I want every one of you to attempt this quiz. It's very interesting. and you'll get only 30 seconds. I'll explain you the instruction, what you need to do exactly. Okay, so you are able to log into kahoot.it.
So game pin.
It is asking for pin, just hold on.
Yes, sir.
So I have all the participants who have rejoined us. Thank you so much. Just hold on. Okay. So I'm just sharing the link with you guys so that you can share your valuable feedback, which is very important for me. Now, did you get this link, Kamakshi?
Yes.
So I'm sharing the game ping now. I'm
Yes,
going to
sir,
start
I
the
got
game.
it.
Now I'm going to start the game. Okay. So what you need to do is, I'll share the pin with you guys. You need to enter the pin. You need to enter the pin. Okay. Okay, the moment you start adding yourself, the pin is 28. The pin is 2826158. Can you see the pin code on the screen? Can someone type yes?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
So the moment you add yourself, your name would appear here. So please, you can type your name properly. You can even use your anyone, like your first name is also okay. So I'm getting 7 players, 8 players, good. So what you need to do is, a question will appear on the screen, and on your laptop or on your mobile phone, you would just see the square or any particular shape and color. Okay, you won't see the question on your screen. You won't see any kind of options like ABC on your mobile. You have to see at the screen and you have to choose the option properly. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Game pin is 2826158. I'll just send you the game pin in the message box itself. Okay, so this is the game pin. So please type in. So I can see 26 players are already there. So I need more participants. Yes, good. 27. Excellent. So what you need to do, a question will come over here on the screen, only on my screen. It will have question, only 30 seconds you'll get. Okay, आपको सिर्फ 30 सेकंड मिलेंगे प्रश्न का उत्तर देने के लिए. Okay, so let me take the privilege of at least organizing a kind of a KBC for you guys. So you'll get only 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, you just have to choose the color or the shape, whichever you feel is the right answer. This question is based on your session which we have completed. So it's a very simple session. It's a very simple question or quiz. So I want every one of you to attempt all the questions. Okay. So there are only 5 questions in it. Only 5 questions. So shall I start? Can I get a quick?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
what
sir.
about the rest 5 players? Please start. Okay. 34 players are there. Now, did you understand the game rule? Question will only appear on my screen. You have to just choose the option, color and the shape, whichever is the convenient or whichever you feel is the right answer, and only press that and send it as go. Okay. So let's start. Here we go. We are going to start the quiz. All the best, every one of you. Here we go. So are you ready, everyone? So the first question,
Yes, sir.
which of these is, no, these are the options. Choose the right option according to you. Which of this is not part of emotional intelligence framework? Come on, fast, I want answers, come on. Choose the color and the shape, whichever is the answer. Come Come on. Good. Only 8 seconds, 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Okay, good. The right answer is self-control. So I don't know how many of you have answered. Let's see the result. Who is leading? Akansha. Very good. Excellent. So Akansha is the topper in this question. Let's move to the next question. So who popularized the term emotional intelligence? Here is your option. 28 seconds, 27 seconds. Time is moving. Time is going. Be quick. Think when you press the button. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Your time is up. So the answer is Daniel Goleman. 18 people answered it correctly. So let's see who is topping. Now the score. Oh, Kamakshi, very good. Keep it up. Let's see. Next question. In ABCD model, what does C mean? So you have these options. Be fast, be quick, lightning speed. Oh, I can see the answers. 18 seconds, 17 seconds, 16 seconds, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. What about two participants? Oh, all of them have answered. 36 answers. Very good. The time is up. Consequences is the right answer. So 18 of you have answered it correctly. Let's see who's topping. Jayant, very good. We have one new entrant in the top list. Next question. It's the second last question. Emotional intelligence helps in developing relationships. True or false? Is it true or false? Come on. 16, 15. Great. So the answer is true. Very good. 34 right answers. Very nice. So who is topping? Jayant. Very nice. So Jayant has the highest answer streak of 4. Very good. So the last question. In which year Daniel Goleman published his book on emotional intelligence? Is it 1985? Is it 1995? Is it 1990 or 1998? You don't have any options like phone a friend or public poll. You have to do it by yourself. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's it. Great, 17 right answers. And the right answer is 1995. He published his book, Emotional Intelligence. So let's see the final result. Yes, Understanding Emotional Intelligence. So Smitesh has stopped. Oh, he has not stopped. He's at third position, second. And the first one is, who is the first one? Vaishnavi. Congratulations, Vaishnavi. Congratulations. So we'll have a party from Vaishnavi. So Vaishnavi, how do you feel? Can I see your voice? Can I hear your voice? Yes, Vaishnavi. You can speak up. You're the winner. I can't hear you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me now? Please speak and share your experience. So guys, can anyone share your experience? How was the session, guys? Did you enjoy?
Yes, sir. It was really awesome.
Thank you so much. Can I get responses from you guys?
Yes, sir, it was good.
Good, thank you. So what was the takeaway? What was the takeaway?
Interesting.
Great. So I'll
Yes,
just.
sir, it is very interesting session.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So before we wind up the session, we'll just like to conclude and wrap up whatever we have discussed. Can you see my screen? So let us conclude. So I can see a lot of good responses. Fantastic. Thank you so much. It was amazing session. We learned to do so much emotional intelligence. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your response. So let us conclude and wind up our session for the day. Emotional intelligence is a significant contributor in understanding your expressions, emotions, or not only about yourself, but also about others. Emotional intelligence goes a long way in developing relations, which we all agreed, which we all participated during the poll, and as well as during the question and answer session. It also helps us to broaden our perspective. Emotional intelligence is not about triumph over IQ, but it helps to balance both. And it also bolsters effective communication, and with effective communication also you can resolve complex issues. So how we saw the example of Ram and Shyam, how effectively he was able to communicate with the receptionist and he was able to get his work done. So thank you so much. I really appreciate and thank all of you for participating and sparing your valuable time. I can see almost negligible dropout in this session and active participation from everyone. So I have shared the feedback form. I want your valuable feedback so that I can at least know how I can improve more on my webinar, and I can also come up with some new and interesting topics which will help you in your career as well. So thank you so much. Thank you. And I hope everyone has got the feedback link. So please share your feedback link. That would be really appreciated so that I can contact you in coming, forthcoming webinars, and we all can again meet and discuss and share our ideas and thoughts.
Actually, I want to thank you, sir, for the game you have organized. I actually loved it, the way you have taken that step to create a game and then where we can participate. So I've been in so many webinars, but this was the I can say the star moment where you have to actually get participated, and then
I can see it was a highly intellectual topic, but I didn't want to make
Yes.
it as a highly intellectual topic because it is all part of our life, and even
Yes.
it also applies to me as well, to everyone, and that's how we can apply in our life. So thank you so much. I can see a lot of feedback popping in my inbox. I really am thankful to all of you guys for participating and making this webinar most memorable one for each one of us. And you have made my day, and I can, I can be rest assured now that yes, we have done a good job, and we'll love to have more such sessions in the coming days. Yes, Swarupa, you want to say something? You can type in your response or you can speak up.
Thank you, sir, for gaming section.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And we are going to wind up now. So please share your valuable feedback, and I'll definitely contact you for any such webinars in future, maybe related to some other topics as well. Okay, and you can also drop any suggestion from your side. You can always contact me. I'm always approachable, and you can always share this feedback even to your friends and families. Okay, so we are ending up this session, and I wish you good health. Be safe, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and hope with the blessings of Almighty we are going to come back to a normal life, and we all can meet one another and exchange lot of ideas and knowledge. Thank you. Take care. Good night.